This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Good evening, and now at 7 o'clock, a look at the latest data from the State Department of Health about COVID-19 in Indiana. Today, an additional 57 deaths were reported. Most of those were recorded over the last week, bringing the total to 1,678. A little more than 15% of the 189,000 people who have been tested for the virus have been positive. That rate is slowly declining as testing increases. And as of today, 41% of the state's ICU beds and 80% of its ventilators are not in use.
And we are learning more about the way dining is about to change in Marion County and Indianapolis from this week through 4th of July weekend. The city is fast-tracking outdoor dining permits for restaurants that want to add or expand outdoor seating. Beginning this Friday, restaurants can open with outdoor seating only. To help, the Department of Public Works is closing some streets in Broad Ripple, along Mass Ave, and near Monument Circle. Restaurants are encouraged to get their seating permits in as soon as possible so they can be open by Friday. Kevin.
And Amanda, I'll add to that, the temperatures for outdoor dining will be comfortable Friday and even warm as we get to Memorial Day weekend. A few temperatures for you now that are a full 10 to 14 degrees below average for this time of year. Bloomington's the warm spot at 68. The familiar cloud cover and a few spotty light showers will continue through the evening hours. Low pressure now sits south of the Ohio River. The circulation around that is counterclockwise. That is why we're seeing showers spin back into the state from Kentucky and from Ohio coming back to the west or northwest. These are very light showers, and the intensity of the rain this evening, most of the time generally light. You could have a very isolated downpour, but that's what they would be. We'll talk about the trend away from rain and toward turning the dial as far as warming temperatures up in just a few minutes.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. Across the country, high schools are holding unique graduation ceremonies, trying to honor their seniors without putting their health at risk. But there's a lot of uncertainty for students that are heading to college. ABC's Trevor Alt shares the plans some schools are making when it comes to in-person classes.
For the class of 2020, graduation day is even more memorable this year. Kept apart by sweeping COVID-19 restrictions, school districts are getting inventive, leading to ceremonies like this in California. Colony High School's drive-through graduation.
We are not allowed to have mass gatherings, so we had to really become creative.
And for graduating seniors headed to college this fall, the future could be just as non-traditional, at least for the first semester. The University of Arizona plans to reopen in the fall. They've converted their research labs to process COVID-19 diagnostic and antibody tests, promising everyone a test if they want it.
If we can get them on campus and it's safe, we'll be here to test them.
Purdue University President Mitch Daniels says they're looking at making changes to classes, residence halls, and dining areas to protect students and faculty.
And our students in overwhelming numbers are saying they want to be here. We think we can do it, but we don't pretend to have all the answers.
The University of South Carolina and Notre Dame University have both announced plans to start the fall semester in person, but they'll switch to remote learning after Thanksgiving, anticipating a possible second wave of the virus in the winter. And the California State University system, which has 500,000 students, has already committed to remote learning through the entire fall semester. Chancellor Timothy White and the Board of Trustees saying in-person learning sadly just isn't in the cards right now.
Both the University of South Carolina and Notre Dame will also be starting their fall semesters early and then skipping their traditional fall break in hopes of minimizing their students' risk of exposure to the virus. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
And RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers continues through the pandemic to connect you and your family to job opportunities and career training. Tonight, Lauren Casey gives you a look at a field with more open positions than people trained to fill them, and that's not just during this global pandemic.
Our professional network is on the front line of this.
They may not get parades or yard signs, but the work of these so-called last responders is a critical part of our infrastructure.
We go out and we take care of the decedents so that we serve that public need.
The mortuary sciences field, funeral directors and embalmers. Brian Miller is an embalmer by trade and the program chair for mortuary sciences at Ivy Tech. It's a 2-year program ending with an associate's degree, preparing students in compassionate care for the living and appropriate care for the deceased. The global pandemic may have changed the way we conduct funerals, but the people in this line of work continue to be in demand.
People are going to live, people are going to die. So this is something that job security wise, would you say that's a benefit because this is something that's not going anywhere?
Currently, the last few years, we've had more jobs available than there are students to fill those. And that's not just here in the state, that's across the country.
And Ivy Tech students are getting a firsthand look at the creativity needed in these trying times to still meet the needs of families.
Like it's a wedding, but done in 3 days instead of 6 months. So it's everything from like clothing, flowers, setup. There's a lot of artistic direction in it.
James Swartout is in his final semester, completing his 320 hours of hands-on work at a funeral home.
I've never been happier doing any work so far.
He first worked in logistics, then was a phlebotomist.
Beforehand, I felt like I was just going through motions. You know, I was just working to live. And now doing this, I feel like I'm actively engaging with people and I'm helping them and giving them something that they need in the time that they need it.
And for James, it's personal.
Funerals help people when they lose someone start that healing process.
Working in this field helped him to work through his own personal struggles with the loss of his father.
And I was very young and I did not deal with it well. And it kind of haunted me for quite a while. And it wasn't until I started getting into this program that I really figured out psychological reasons why.
Workers in mortuary sciences are not grief counselors, but they do play a critical role in the grieving process.
It's probably like a specific type of person. Not everyone's cut out for this.
The true answer is anyone who has a compassion to serve and a sensitive heart and a servant's heart can be successful in our business. What I think you have to understand is the nature of the business so that you don't come out of it thinking that we're crime scene investigators or that we're going to be forensic pathologists or that you're going to work 8 to 5. Those things are unrealistic.
For Brian, the job is an act of service.
Really, the goal of it is to prepare a person to give them some dignity back. So let's put them in their clothing. Let's shave them and clean them and give them some dignity so that the family then can see them and have a healthy grief reaction.
Lauren Casey, RTV6.
And training in the mortuary science field is strenuous and heavy on classwork, so a good foundation in science and psychology can help. And there is a lot of hands-on work in the field. Prepare to move to where jobs are open. And in terms of safety, Brian says embalming is actually less dangerous for exposure to COVID-19 than funeral directing with proper preparation. Many funeral directors now are speaking with families virtually to avoid exposure.
A local family is reaching out to RTV6 for help, saying the condition of a Boone County cemetery is unacceptable. Our Megan Sanctorum spoke with them about their concerns and is getting answers from the cemetery managers.
This is what part of Lincoln Memory Gardens looks like right now. You can see some headstones in this Boone County cemetery are out of place and others are sinking into the ground. There are wood boards covering several grave sites and the land is uneven.
I've never seen a cemetery in this condition.
Kathleen Haddock says her father-in-law is buried here and she came over the weekend to bring flowers. She says she was not prepared to see the land like this, especially ahead of Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, my fear is that families will come this weekend and they'll stumble upon this. They could have traveled 100 miles for the day to come and find a family member. And then to walk up and find that, how disheartening would that be to someone to walk up and find their loved one grave in that condition?
She says she tried to contact management, but hasn't had any luck. So we reached out to the management company for answers. They say they've had a lot of burials recently due to the pandemic, and rain has caused some flooding. We've learned new staff members have been hired, and the manager says crews will be working to make repairs before the weekend. We'll continue to follow this story and make sure the work gets done. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Well, this is not the first time we've reported on issues at Lincoln Memory Gardens. In 2018, a family found their loved one had been buried in the wrong plot. 10 years before that, the cemetery operator there pleaded guilty to theft and fraud. He was accused of misusing millions of dollars from this and other Indiana cemeteries.
Still ahead on the news at 7, a strange surprise lurking on delivery apps, how Chuck E. Cheese might be tricking families into their food.
But But first, Carmel Businesses is providing options for people told to work at home who still want a designated workspace. How they're providing a blueprint for other companies in this new normal.
Make a donation or volunteer today.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
As the pandemic and social distancing guidelines continue, more companies and employees are coming up with long-term plans for remote work. But for some, working from home is not an option. RTV6's Cornelia Soccer shows you how a unique co-working space in Carmel is providing a solution while keeping workers safe.
It was really kind of looking at each person to see kind of what their needs were.
Christina Monson on helping her clients continue their work at Office Evolution.
It allows them to still get work done, but also in a safe manner.
There are signs up throughout the office telling people to keep their distance from each other. Every other workstation is open, and there are hand sanitizers and wipes readily available.
So I felt comfortable that me going in, that I was in a fairly, I guess, as safe as you can be at this point.
Stuart Wood has been consistently coming into Office Evolution to get his work done. He says the setup for him and others is perfect to maintain social distancing.
We all have our own offices, so we're pretty separated anyways.
Stuart handles small business and individual tax returns as an accountant. Having a professional workspace is something he says is a top priority to keep sensitive information safe. It's also convenient for Stuart when it comes to getting work done for his clients.
Is really difficult to do with a limited number of monitors. And so I have my monitors set up here at this office and those sorts of things, which I do not have at home.
With big companies like Twitter telling their employees they can work from home forever, business experts think it's just a matter of time before this option becomes something that's the norm. If it happens, places like Office Evolution are prepared to offer those who need or prefer a professional workspace.
Everybody has to pivot right now, so it's kind of stepping back and looking at your business and going, okay, what changes do we need to make?
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
We've got 3 things to talk about, actually a list a lot longer than that, but we'll focus on rain chances, change in temperatures as we head to Memorial Day weekend, and of course weekend forecast details. That's next.
AmpianWindows.com today.
Many restaurants are partnering with delivery apps like Grubhub and DoorDash as families look for alternatives to dining out. And tonight, the entertainment chain Chuck E. Cheese is making headlines for popping up on delivery apps as well. A Reddit user ordered from a restaurant called Pasquale's Pizza and Wings, and when the food arrived, they noticed it looked and tasted familiar. Turns out Pasquale's is the name of the kitchen portion of Chuck E. Cheese restaurants. Pasquale P. Pie Plate is the name of the chef in the Chuck E. Cheese Make-Believe Band. Kevin Gregory joins us now. And Kevin, it was another very gloomy day in Indianapolis and the surrounding area. Are we going to see any sunshine?
All that'll happen, when the sun comes out, then we'll just stare at it, right? And that's on the way with warmer temperatures, so we just need to be patient. Okay, next 2 days, we're talking about the warm up. We don't really feel it till Friday, and then it settles in as we get to the Memorial Day weekend. Temperatures in the 60s the next couple of days, then a noticeable change into the 70s on Friday. All 3 of those days will have relatively low rain chances. The rain chance does come back up over the weekend, but it is way down from where we've been. That's progress. Warmer temperatures, lower rain chances, and the weekend straight ahead. As far as the showers, they're hit and miss in Greene County, southwest of Bloomington, near Bloomfield, Linton. A couple of showers there in Greene County. Some other sprinkles or very light rain activity for central Indiana. 61 in Peru, temperature just above the 60-degree mark as well in Muncie. Almost 70 in Terre Haute. Temperatures tomorrow at this time may be aided by at least a few breaks in the cloud cover. All of the green you see represents kind of the cloud shield, the circle of showers, the below average temperatures. On the edges of that is where you start to find warmer temperatures. Little Rock, Arkansas at 73. Then you get out into the Plain States from Valentine, Nebraska, up into the Dakotas. Temperatures well into the 70s. Between now and 11, these very light showers and drizzle. That will be hard to get rid of as that moisture's trapped in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. During the day tomorrow, any chance of all-out rain is low. We may have some sprinkles at times and the cloud cover to deal with, but that too breaks up a little bit. Temperature by noon, 58. Afternoon highs struggle in the low to maybe mid-60s. As temperatures sit below average, 74 is our average high for this time of year. The wind becomes strong. It'll gust out of the east, anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly cloudy once again. Temperatures slightly warmer at 67. Thursday during the day, cloud cover late in the day begins to break up a little more. We could have a shower, but again, the chance is very low. And temperatures Thursday, upper 60s. But as we get to the weekend, the timing is perfect. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even Tuesday, temperatures at 80 degrees or warmer. That's 4 in a row, if I count correctly. The chance for any showers or thunderstorms through that period, 30 to 40%. The chance is there. It's just not overwhelming. Let's concentrate on those nice temperatures. Back to you guys.
Makes me look forward to the weekend, Kevin. Thank you. Well, staying home day after day may have you feeling down and perhaps looking for a furry companion to keep you company. But you have to be careful here. Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau tells us a lot of criminals are taking advantage of people's loneliness.
Yeah, we've really seen the puppy scams increase incredibly during this whole COVID-19 event. And what's happening is so many people are working and, really living constantly at home that they are searching for a pet. And what's happening now is they're going out online, seeing these absolutely adorable pets that people are offering online. But many times those pets that you see online, it's a scam. Those pets don't actually exist. What's going to happen is you're going to, number one, pay for money to get this pet. And then there's going to be an endless number of stories about they've got to import this pet from another country. There are certain fees. There's veterinary costs, things like they have to have special cages, all types of things to continue to get you to pay money. What you've got to understand is the pet that you think you bought doesn't actually exist. So we always tell people before you want to go out and get a pet, actually go out and see the pet, make certain that it exists, that you can see the conditions that it was existing in, all those types of things. And then another thing you might want to think about is there are lots of abandoned pets that are in animal shelters. That's a great place also to get a pet, but be very, very skeptical about getting a pet online. These pets look great. They look adorable. They simply don't exist. But you're going to spend a lot of money and you're going to be very disappointed. So we have seen this increase quite a bit during this COVID-19 event. Pets are a great way to, create a little bit of a family for yourself, but just be careful where you get it.
And you can find more information about avoiding scams on our website, theindychannel.com/money. We'll be right back right after this.
Man, contact Culligan, the local water experts.
RTV6 is a proud partner of the United Way's COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. The fund assists with food relief, child care, care for senior citizens, resources for mental health, and much more. To date, the United Way has raised nearly $24 million for COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Funds. Now, about $18 million has already been awarded to groups that help our community. If you'd like to make a donation to the fund, you can do so by texting HELP 2020 to 91999. Again, that's HELP 2020 to 91999.
Demand for air travel is slowly beginning to take off again. A spokesperson for Delta says that means they'll start adding more flights to their schedules. The airline has committed to keeping planes below 60% capacity through the end of June. All major U.S. carriers now require passengers to wear masks, and the House Transportation Committee has recommended they keep middle seats open to allow for some degree of social distancing.
80s over the weekend, as we mentioned. 85 the peak temperature. That's all for the news now. Mark, Amanda, and I look forward to seeing you at 11.